This is episode 11 From Ore to I Do. Deep in the heart of the Black Hills, the earth holds on to its secrets in layers of granite, quartz, and so many more minerals. For over a century, people have come to these mountains to take away gold, silver, mica, and so much more. But today we are visiting a place where people come to leave something behind. A promise. Hi, I'm Levi Kessler, and you are listening to the Storytellers Collection. Usually we are digging through the archives or trekking through the brush to find the history below the pines. But today, the history is right in front of us, transformed from a dusty industrial site into a place of celebration. We're standing at an old mica mine that has lived over a dozen different lives since the turn of the 20th century. Today, the sound of jackhammers has been replaced by wedding marches. To fully understand the magic of this venue, you have to understand the bones of the land. This claim was first staked back in 1901, and during its heyday, it wasn't a quiet mountain retreat. It was a bustling operation employing around 50 men from the local southern Black Hills. Now, this mine was pretty complex. It was known as a pegmatite mine, and if you're not a geology buff or into the mining terminology, let us explain. So, pegmatite is essentially a igneous rock soup, you could say. It's where crystals grow to massive sizes because of that magma, that really hot magma cooled so slowly that it basically drew it out longer. And it created those crystals into massive sizes. Pretty incredible. And it was at this mine that they were actually after the mica. You know, that shimmering sheet-like stuff that you see in the Black Hills. When it's ground up, it's all over the Black Hills and gets all over your car and your car boards and whatnot. They actually used that mica, that sheet-like mica, in many different forms. So they used it in everything from wood stoves to windows to electrical insulators in computers and so much more. It was a hot commodity at one point in time, and it was a very popular thing to mine in the Black Hills. The main era of production wrapped up around 1920 for this mine. Now, there were some brief echoes of activity in the 1950s and 60s, and again in the early 2000s, but the mountain had mostly gone quiet after that. That's until our guest today saw something no one else saw. Joining us now on the show is the man responsible for the mine's second act. He has turned a rugged piece of Black Hills history into one of the most unique event spaces in the entire region. Bryan, thank you for sitting down with us, and welcome to the Storytellers Collection podcast. We're super excited to have you. Well, we are here with Bryan today. Welcome to the History Below the Pine Storytellers Collection podcast, Bryan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, tell us where we're at. Tell us who you are.
So again, my name is Bryan Konechny, and we're at the Big Pickle, which is located at the St. Louis mine east of the town of Custer.
Yeah, what an incredible name.
Yes, there's sort of a short, not super interesting story behind it. You know, trying to name our business and our property, kind of what we wanted to do. To start out, I guess we're two families that bought this property. With the intentions of just sort of finding a way to allow other people in our families to enjoy it with us. I mean, it's an absolute gem in the middle of the Black Hills, completely private. We sat down for dinner one night and started trying to come up with names for, we tried to work our kids' names into it, tried everything, what's unique? And after a handful of beers, I think, or my business partner had gone to the restroom, came back, and he's just said, we got to come up with something quick here. We're going to end up as Thick Pickle LLC, which we all had a good laugh about. The kids thought it was funny. And by the end of the night, the Big Pickle was born. And with all the ideas of pickle themed everything, pickle fest, pickle drinks, pickle everything, pickle beer,
Pickle weddings.
Absolutely. It took over. And, the idea then that we could put a venue together to throw weddings, concerts, events, parties over the wintertime, you name it. That kind of idea fell together, and we said, well, the Southern Hills doesn't have anything like this. We would be the largest in the area for sure. We, by our plans, which were under construction, by our plans, we'll be able to seat 400 people at round tables, and otherwise theater seating, we'd be limited only by our parking. So we're on 21 acres. That is, if you walk it, you would think it were 60, based on the way that the old mine was sort of terraced and built upon. And we found a couple hillsides that have got really good earth that's easy to move, that we've been able to sort of sculpt into more usable areas for us to take advantage of.
Yeah, I think it's super incredible that we're at a wedding venue that's an old mine. I mean, this mine is a gorgeous open cut. Well, it was first claimed in the 1900s and ran to the 1920s. So there's a lot of history here, and a lot of beautiful rocks as well.
Well, and honestly, you probably know more of the history than I do in some of these areas. It's been kind of a blast to walk around with you and hear some of the picking up some of the artifacts, finding things around the property, identifying minerals. It's cool because everything here sparkles like you're walking on roads made of diamond. It's the wind blows a little bit and you're going to be cleaning glitter out of your car.
Yeah, here's the deal. Maybe don't clean your car before you come to a wedding at the Big Pickle. Ladies, you'll love it. There's some natural glow here. Get on your hands, it'll get all over.
The kids will be a mess.
The kids will definitely be a mess. So we walked the pad where they're building. We saw the future site of the Big Pickle. What's production time look like?
Well, our key right now is to essentially, we have a liquor license already secured, with the county. We're, working through paperwork, minutia of making sure everything is kosher. We've got all of our plans are stamped, architectural, engineering. We have a commercial easement in and out, so making sure that everybody's happy with the county, trying to keep, we met with a handful of the neighbors, they're not concerned necessarily, but they have little questions like, hey, what's your light going to be like? And I say, well, you don't want to ruin the stars. Obviously you're out here in such a beautiful area. I don't want to ruin night, I want to keep the stars. So if we can have all indirect lighting and only light areas that we're really required to by law, it's for safety reasons.
Sure.
That was a big deal for the neighbors. And, a couple of them said, well, we love tequila, so will you stock these brands for us? So it's been little things. Otherwise, we've had a really warm reception to the area. Custer County is phenomenal to work with. Everybody in there has been, you ask, they're very helpful. They helped us secure the liquor license. We didn't even know one was available at the time, and it was surprisingly for the Black Hills very affordable. And it's obviously it's something that changes the landscape for us out here pretty drastically. So we will have to start using that license this summer. Okay. So even if that means I'm sitting out here at a card table selling shots of whiskey and so be it. But I have a feeling that we're going to put something up here that's temporary to start inviting people out.
I picture Bryan sitting at a black card table wearing a hoodie selling shots in red Solo cups. $2 a shot, come and get it.
I can try the angry, mean cowboy look as well. It's
I guess it's like the kids' lemonade stand. You're gonna be like, you're gonna need to put your kids out there on the highway, turn here for whiskey.
We would be considering we are. Oh, let's see. We're exactly 10 minutes from downtown Custer. We are 10 minutes into Custer State Park. We're a phenomenal location down Lower French Creek Road, just south of Stockade Lake. So we're very easy to get to. It's a county road. It's well maintained. Uh, so it makes even some of the side-by-side traffic coming through the Black Hills, we could be a pretty fun stop.
Yeah.
Pop in, grab a drink, check the place out.
Yeah, we brought up our idea to Bryan earlier. We said, hey, you should do a food truck and a metal detecting, day on your property, see what people can find.
Absolutely.
That'd be a super fun event.
Any rock hound that we've had out here usually hasn't even closed the door to their car before I find them reaching to the ground. So
I was reaching to the ground earlier, but that's because I got some sap on my hands and had to do something quick. But I'm going home without any rocks, just so you know.
Yeah. So the explanation behind the sap. So we've obviously Custer had we dealt with the windstorm not that long ago. A windstorm came through, tore down a lot of trees, destroyed a lot of Custer State Park. Just it created a giant mess. We've already been cleaning areas up. So we have had a lot of trees down. The tree your hand went in, I've just been cutting on.
Thanks for telling me.
We were, we were, I guess I say, unfortunate and lucky at the same time to have been right in the path of the
Quarry fire.
Yep, the quarry fire in Custer. Burned thousands of acres.
Yeah, for those Googling the Big Pickle, you'll probably see it's on the burn scar. But you're not affected, really.
No, we were very fortunate that we aren't going to lose very many trees. The way that the tailings wall was built around the mine deflected the flames essentially around us in a horseshoe. It went up the hill behind us and on the creek side. So obviously, too, having some water access, that fire didn't jump the creek, at least in very many spots. We have few little weird, odd burn spots that were probably from some flying embers, and so we've got some cleanup to do. But I think the bright side is that we didn't lose that many trees, and it took care of a handful of my slash piles.
Yeah, well, there you go. And Mother Nature did the work for you. A few historic structures were lost to history, and that's sad, but it's Mother Nature over time taking her land back, I guess. It's something we see here in the Black Hills a lot. When you come to ghost towns and ghost mines out here, the photos of the big mills and the photos of the cabins and old buildings and whatnot, it's not there anymore because it burned down. So I feel like fire is just another part of the story in the Black Hills history book section.
So I guess this is good. I can bounce a question back off of you.
Oh, definitely.
Tell me what sort of history did you find at our old mine?
Yeah, so the St. Louis mine first claimed around, according to mine data and some old history books we have, claimed somewhere around 1900. 1901, discrepancy there, probably 1900, maybe 1901. They were operation from 1901 to 1920, was full operation period. So you're probably looking at the old pickup trucks. If you Google, you'll see the old Model T pickup trucks, hauling. You can find, not of this mine, but photos of other mines like it. We're talking super small dump trucks, not like what you would see today. So this operation is vast. We're looking at a footprint that's very large. So walking around the property today with you, it was very incredible to see the work that they did and how old this work is. Like, this was hard work, People say today, I worked really hard today. I'm like, did you? Did you really? Because, young guys were doing back in the 1900s, they were busting their butts mining in the Black Hills. No, you worked 8 hours a day at your office. Sorry, I'm calling out the blue-collar guys. But yeah, no, so it looks like 1900 and 1920 was the operation period. There was some brief operation in 1954, according to the United States Geological Survey. So that's historically accurate completely. What that was, probably it was a company who was reworking some of your tailing piles. And when I say tailings, that's like what they took out of the mine. That's the big piles of dirt and rock. So they probably had better technology in 1954 than they did in 1901 or 1920s. So they were able to go back through and rework some of these tailing piles. And then there was also word of, another mining company later in the 2000s who had it that we've talked about. I won't mention the name, but they had a lot of mines in and around this area as well. So very, very historic. As far as there was a cabin down the hill that burned. That was an assayer building to start off with. And then I was told it was turned into a cabin later on. So a lot of history here.
Yeah, and honestly, too, what makes this the big pickle, anyways, what makes it very unique in the Black Hills area is that we are completely surrounded by Forest Service land. And the reason that happened is that one of the old homesteads, one of the original owners of this area that had probably grazed cattle in the surrounding sort of meadows. When she passed away, she didn't have any family left to will her land back to, so she willed that land back to the Forest Service, and hence we are now surrounded by Forest Service land that won't be, at least in my lifetime,
Won't be built on.
yeah, won't be built on. And it's completely accessible to the public, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a wedding venue. I mean, we're standing on the hillside, looking out, and you could see the Needles. You could see Black Elk Peak. And the burn scar, you're probably all wondering if you're listening and you're a local, you're like, well, what about all the black char? Grass is coming in really green, and it's only April. Like what, a month after the fire? Not
Yep.
even. So it's going to be a beautiful green, luscious valley by June or July if we have a heavy moisture season. So what a beautiful wedding venue.
Absolutely. Our amphitheater area, which overlooks that meadow, uh, it's like you say, it's already green. There's a handful of the mountain peaks that the fire crowned, where you can see it took out large acreages. I mean, of tree cover, which it looks like an ugly scar today, but I think one of the sort of the silver linings behind that is getting to see the unbelievable rock and boulder that hides underneath that stuff. It's a part of the Black Hills that you don't often get to see unless you're in an area that was post forest fire.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say that there's a silver lining to a forest fire, but it's going to be absolutely stunning, I think, once it greens back up.
I think people are really sad about fires. Fires are just a dark word. It's a sad term. Um, Especially the historians and history buffs like History Below the Pines, because we lose historic structures and buildings, and that's sad. They're gone to history. But fire is also a beautiful thing because it sanitizes the environment, and it cleans it up.
Part of nature's cycle.
Yeah, like Bryan had a bunch of old tree piles that he had cut up. Mother Nature took care of it for him, except for a few. She left those for him.
I got to learn how to work hard.
There you go. Watch out, Bryan's kids. You're going to be busy. But yeah, no, I mean, I can't wait for you guys to open this up and have a venue. When can folks start booking for weddings?
Give us a call whenever, and we can host outdoor weddings immediately if we had to. We can throw a tent up anywhere on here, and we've had a few brides that have come out and taken a peek over places. And if we can, especially smaller gatherings right now, that's easy. We have chairs and tables already stored away in a pole barn, and so we have access to everything. You name it. It obviously we're far more rustic until we get a building up, but I think our plan here too, that is if we can get cracking on construction and work through the season, that we have a building up, so we are essentially operating within the next year, if not 2 years.
Okay. That's super exciting. That's an exciting time frame. I mean, who wouldn't want to get married out here in a beautiful green luscious valley on a historical old mine site? I don't know about you, but I don't think there's, and correct me, listeners, if I'm wrong, I don't think there's another wedding venue in the Black Hills that's at an old mine.
I couldn't name one myself.
I mean, we do tons of research. I've met hundreds of owners. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Bethlehem Cave isn't a mine, is it?
That'd
be the only underground.
Yeah.
Now, granted, nothing here is underground, but and it's a really unique I guess you call it a unique idea. There's so much sort of the anti-mining argument, modern day anti-mining argument, that it scars the land, it leaves this, so we'd like to kind of also show with the Big Pickle that you can take an old mine and turn it into something absolutely beautiful. They've already sort of set the stage for us when they reclaimed this area by leaving us big platform, relatively flat areas to start working with. Uh, Obviously, we have to make the place safe, but that's not as big of a deal as it could be. Obviously, an underground mine might be considerably more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I think
but,
that's insurance-wise liability. Yeah.
But it is one of the unique things here. We have a lot of water on property. We've got a good 100 yards of French Creek that runs through a part of the property right along a tailings wall. It's full of fish.
It is gorgeous. We walked along the creek earlier. Beautiful.
And it looks mowed right now because...
I mean, Brad, this is two photographers talking, by the way. It's a photographer's dream. I mean, they put you next to the creek. It's great.
Or in a meadow that has probably sprung wildflowers. It's
that true, like, I want to say like Midwest, but we're not Midwest. That's always an argument. I won't bring that up, Let us know. Is the Black Hills Midwest? I'm not sure. I've heard both sides of the argument. But when I look into the luscious Green Valley, it almost gives off that like horse ranch vibe, without the horses, of course. But it feels like that very rustic, Midwestern ranch, mountain style kind of venue.
Absolutely. I think a lot of our neighbors here as well are who do run rental properties. They stick with the sort of rustic look.
It's like you take Beaufort, South Dakota, and you plug it in right next to the mine, and you get a beautiful green luscious valley and a cool historic mining area. And it has a beautiful stage, beautiful area to get married. Or if you're having another event, maybe you're having some other event, like a birthday. You could throw up a tent and...
Absolutely.
I guess the options are endless. You could do,
Live music.
Live music.
Under the stars. Who knows?
Bluegrass at the mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big Pickle Bluegrass Festival.
Yeah.
There it is.
We'd go so far as to say an EDM festival at the Big Pickle.
Oh, man. I feel like maybe we won't talk about that on the podcast. I don't know. Maybe there's some questionable ideas there. Yeah, wow. Yeah, countless options. I look forward to an awesome future for you guys. I can't wait to see what you guys do with the place. Glad you didn't burn up. Glad you're still here. So, yeah, but where can they find you for anyone who's interested?
Well, so we're on Facebook. Is the Big Pickle. We have a website up at giantdill.com.
Careful. Careful.
I am the Duke of Dill on my business card.
Don't let your kids Google that. Make sure you Google it, not your kids.
Yes. My business partner is the Cucumber Commander.
This is getting weird.
The ideas just start flowing and they never stop.
What's the name of that kid's TV show with the VeggieTales? Yeah.
We are probably characters on VeggieTales.
I feel like you guys grew up watching VeggieTales, and it shows.
Yes, we've got a cart actually. We've got an old Cushman cart named the Relish Rickshaw. Kids drive around the neighborhood, and I think I have a mobility scooter now, which is the Gherkin Glide. And,
so he has a mobility scooter and he has wind chimes. I don't know what to think of Bryan anymore. Well, hey, thank you so much for having us up here, and thank you for showing us around and letting us nerd out on some history. I was telling Bryan earlier, I stood across on Forest Service looking over here years ago, wondering if I'd ever get the chance to come over here, and years later, here I am. So, yeah, it's been a blast. Can't wait to see what you guys do with it. So, thank you for having us here on the property. And, I will say this as a closing. This is the first podcast we have ever done at an open cut mine. So, that's kind of fun.
Awesome.
We've done underground now. We've done in an open cut. And here on location is really cool. So, thanks for having us. And hopefully check out the podcast when it comes out.
You got it.
Well, Bryan, thank you so much for sharing that history with us. and for showing us around. What you have here is truly a gem, and it's somewhere that you can almost sit still and hear the history. But we are so excited for the future of this space and for all the joy and bright celebrations that will soon be home to this location. I think it's rare to find a place where the industrial grit of the 1900s feels so naturally at home with the elegance of what you would say a wedding day would be. So, thank you. Thank you for giving us a tour of your history and showing us that the history and the bygone days do not always have to stay buried. Sometimes it just needs a little touch up and a new purpose. Watching the sun hit those mica flecked walls, you realize that while the miners of 1901 were looking for profit, the people coming here today are looking for something a bit more permanent. Thank you for joining us on this stop of the Storytellers Collection. If you enjoyed this trip into the Black Hills past, make sure to follow the project on all of our social media platforms. It's there that you'll find visuals, more hidden gems, and the history of Black Hills. We can't wait for the next episode, so we hope you guys will make sure to subscribe and like our various social media platforms, and we will see you right back here next week for another episode of the History Below the Pines Storytellers Collection podcast. My name's Levi, and until we meet again, keep researching history.